All right, so for the past year and a half, when it came to gaming laptops or performance laptops in general, Intel products have had to take a bit of a backseat because AMD's Ryzen chips were just so good. They made these mobile devices that were just so much better than what Intel was offering with their 10th gen stuff, right? They were better performing, they had better thermals. It was just hard for people to recommend a 10th gen Intel laptop over what AMD was offering. And this product at the time, came out like 2 or 3 months ago as a 10th gen chip. And it was available for review at the time, but I didn't want to look at it. I was like, why would I even show this to people when it's running a chip that's over a year old? It did not make sense to me, right? I knew that the 11th gen stuff was coming right around the corner, and I was hopeful for it. And this is a product where the difference is going to be most noticeable, like on a very powerful system with like all the bells and whistles. So I said, I waited for it, and I'm so glad I did, because the 11th gen version of this product is just, it's something else. So this is the MSI GE76, and it is the most powerful laptop I've ever had in the studio. It has the highest GPU score I've ever gotten in 3D Mark. It's an absolute monster. So let's get into it. So the exterior of this device is a bluish gray color. It's a metal finish. It's metal on the top panel, metal on the keyboard deck, and it's a really nice looking finish to me. Now, this particular device is running an unlocked 11th gen Intel CPU, the 11980HK. It's the fastest laptop CPU you can get on the market right now, and it's also running an RTX 3080, the fastest laptop GPU you can get on the market right now, and it's all packaged to a 17-inch device with a sweet-ass lighting system up front. This is really cool looking to me. Now, normally I skip over the RGB elements in gaming laptops because everyone's doing it and they're all pretty similar to each other. This one is different. So normally you'll see light strips, right? Like a strip of LED stuff on a laptop that lights up. You can change the colors. This ain't no strip, or at least it doesn't look like one. It looks like this glowing block up at the front. And when it's off, like, because the plastic is tinted or smoked, it's got this like dark haze to it, you can't even tell that it lights up. It just looks like a regular laptop. When I first got it, I was like, does this even light up? It looked like it did in the pictures, but this is just black plastic. How's that supposed to work? And then you open it up and it's like, oh, the whole bar lights up. And if you look closely at it, it almost looks like a fluid on the inside that's glowing. It's just really unique looking to me. Now, because it's a smoked plastic, it's a bit darker than I would like. Like, I wish this whole bar was just a little bit brighter like you see in the marketing material, but it's still pretty cool looking to me. Okay, so performance. CPU, fast AF. GPU, also fast AF. So it benchmarks really well. Now, these scores were obtained with the regular default settings. Like, it's running an extreme performance, but there's no undervolting going on. There's no kind of tweaking in the settings. It's just the regular default stuff out of the box. You can undervolt it, and because if you take a look at the internals, the thermal system is very easily removed, so if you want to, you can repaste it, but that's something that we don't see very often. Right now in 2021, so many of the gaming laptop companies are using vapor chambers or like special thermal compounds. Sometimes we're running liquid metal, sometimes there's like that new stuff, that phase change material. Those types of thermal systems you cannot pop open and repaste easily. Like, you can if you're more technically inclined, but for the average person, you don't touch that stuff. Because this is kind of like the tried and tested simple heatsink and heat pipe, you can easily pop it open and tweak around with it if you're into that kind of stuff. Now, in terms of the default thermal performance, it's quite good for what's happening here. So because this is an unlocked CPU, it's just going to let it rip until it hits that thermal wall. And I'm actually pretty happy with the numbers. I do think that with some undervolting and a repasting, you could get some really impressive numbers on this particular system. Now, in order to hit these numbers, the fans need to be quite loud, and when you're in that maximum cooler boost mode, you absolutely need headphones on, or else you won't be able to hear a thing when you're playing games. It does also seem that the GPU area has a better or just more robust thermal system. There's just more heat pipes on this side, and because this is an unlocked CPU, I'm just curious what this system would have been able to do if they had an equivalent number of heat pipes on the CPU side as well. But overall, thermal system is good. You can also see there's 2 NVMe slots down here. This is PCIe 4, so the speeds are super fast. You also have 2 RAM slots and your Wi-Fi card. The battery down here is big. It's the biggest you can get, 99.9 watt hours. But even then, because it's a big screen, 17-inch screen with a powerful system and with RGBs off, I'm still only getting 5 hours of battery life, just over 5 hours. So you're definitely going to need that AC adapter if you go around. It's a 280 watts, not crazy heavy, but it does add to the package weight. Now keep in mind that on a system like this, because it's thick, they're able to cool it so well, right? Anytime you take a system and you try to shrink it, like every millimeter you shrink it, it becomes exponentially more difficult and exponentially more expensive for the product. So this, I still think this is a very portable package. It's not like super lightweight, but it's like, I don't know. I think this is a very viable system considering how powerful the components are on the inside. Okay, so just to wrap this up, the screen and the keyboard. So this is a 1080p screen at 360 hertz. It's super fast, and there's also a 1440p option as well as a 4K option. And then the keyboard, this is like a standard MSI keyboard. It's kind of weird how consistent MSI is with all of their keyboards on their devices. They have the same layout, the same kind of chiclet style to it. I like these keyboards, but I feel like you do have to get used to them. They're not like an immediately enjoyable keyboard to me. And same with the trackpad. It's decent, but it could be better. I don't like the surface texture on this as well. But the click mechanics are good. It's just the texture is a little bit too smooth for my personal taste. Now, in terms of the speakers, they're loud, quite loud, maybe to combat the fan noise that it can reach sometimes, but they do not project through these speaker cutouts on the left and right of the keyboard. Those are like a faux cutout. These are bottom firing speakers, and they sound loud and reasonably clear, but they're not like MacBook quality if you're hoping for that. Now the ports, there's an SD card slot, there's an Ethernet jack. It's got basically all the ports you would want on a high-end gaming laptop like this. Yeah, it's a pretty complete package. I think for people that are looking for like ultra portable devices, this ain't it, obviously, right? It's not super, super light and thin, but I think if you want something that's like the best performance possible, this is it. This is better than any AMD system I've seen so far, and it just delivers performance that you can tweak, right? You can definitely repaste this thing. I don't know if it voids your warranty, but it's very easy to access. And this to me is a really good example of what you can do with an Intel system if it's cooled properly. You just get the fastest. Literally the fastest. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. See you guys next time.